Thank you. Next, we will hear from Allison Jaslow, Chief of Staff, Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America.
Chairman Isaacson, Chairman Rowe, Ranking Members Tester and Walls, and members of the committee. On behalf of IAVA and our over 425,000 members and supporters, thank you for the opportunity to share the voices of our nation's post-9/11 veterans with you here today. IAVA's Big Four policy priorities for the 115th Congress are to fully recognize and improve services for women veterans, defend veterans' education benefits, namely the landmark post-9/11 GI Bill, to reform the VA for the 21st century, and to continue to take veterans' suicide head-on. Before I get into the nitty-gritty, I want to first reiterate IAVA's request to be afforded the same opportunity as other leading VSOs that have an individual platform to discuss their members' priorities with you. We are the preferred empowerment organization for the post-9/11 generation, will continue to grow in size, and bring a unique perspective to every conversation around the issues of our community. Now into the issues, and I'll save priority number one for last. IAVA led the fight to ensure our generation of veterans received education benefits that matched those given to the greatest generation. The post-9/11 GI Bill is not just an investment in our nation's veterans, it's an investment in our nation's economy, and a promise that must be protected. For every dollar invested into a World War II veterans GI Bill, our economy saw a $7 return. Preservation of the GI Bill is also a readiness issue. If we still plan to defend our borders with an all-volunteer force, we must protect the benefit that troops are counting on, or risk an adverse impact on recruitment and morale at a time when terrorist threats couldn't be greater. Our members also want to see a VA that matches the century we're in. We need reform that puts the veteran first, that gives the VA secretary the tools he needs to hold bad actors accountable. The reforms, the appeals process, similar to the proposal that won broad support in the VSO community and bipartisan support in the 114th Congress, and a healthcare solution that combines the best of what the VA has with the best of the private sector. We call on Congress to enact a strong accountability bill now, and at the same time must remember that talk of dismantling the VA is extremely unpopular with veterans. I'm sure it surprises few that IAVA is proud of its role in raising awareness of the shameful rate of veteran suicide and subsequent passage of the Clay Hunt SAVE Act. But we cannot get complacent after our wins in the media and here on Capitol Hill. We have to ensure that the law is being implemented nationwide as envisioned, and IAVA asks that Congress hold oversight hearings early this year to ensure progress of this initiative, in addition to the recent complementary Female Veteran Suicide Prevention Act. Additionally, we have to ensure that veterans with bad paper discharges, in some cases as a direct result of a mental health injury, get the support and care that they too have earned. IAVA appreciated the recent announcement by the administration that these veterans will gain access to the mental health care they need, but looks forward to working together with all of you to ensure that talk turns into action. While women veterans have played a critical role in the military, only 43% of IAVA women feel their male colleagues respected their service, and just 27% of IAVA women vets feel the public does. The recent Marines United scandal underscores the importance of IAVA's top policy priority, to fully recognize and improve support for women veterans. As a former Army captain, the news that former and current Marines had shared nude photos of their female colleagues with 30,000 members of a Facebook group saddened but didn't entirely shock me. The truth is, the military has a woman problem, not just among those in active duty, but in the desperate care we offer for our veterans. Need evidence? Look no further than the Department of Veterans Affairs motto: to care for him who shall have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan. Women have served in the U.S. military since the Revolutionary War, when Deborah Sampson disguised herself as a man, joined the Army, and served 17 months before being honorably discharged. More recently, over 345,000 women have deployed since 9/11, including me and many of my closest friends. But what do most Americans imagine when a veteran comes to mind? Close your eyes. I'm guessing most of you don't imagine someone who looks like me. Women are the fastest growing segment of the veteran population, and over the next 5 years, while the number of male veterans is expected to decrease, the number of women will simultaneously increase. We need to take this cultural problem head on, and it should start with the tone that the VA sets itself. We need to stop hearing stories about women who are welcomed at their local VA hospital by staff asking their husband accompanying them how they can help him. We should be outraged that self-proclaimed patriots are reprimanding women veterans for parking in the reserved for veterans space at the local grocery store. And we should be ashamed that the disparities in the very services we make available to male veterans are a clear sign to women that they are an afterthought. I deployed twice to Iraq, I was in combat, and after nearly 15 years of a woman being on the front lines of our nation's war on terror, I shouldn't feel like a second-class veteran. As a nation, we need to care for she who shall have borne the battle too. Americans will get behind us, but they need leadership. They need their president and Congress to act. They need to be engaged in a conversation that will lead to lasting change and bring us closer to where I know in our hearts our country wants to be. Yesterday, Iraq and Afghanistan Veterans of America was proud to partner with Senators Tester and Bozeman and Representative Esty to introduce the bipartisan Deborah Sampson Act to address these problems that women veterans face, and will be asking all members of Congress for their support to ensure it becomes law. In addition to culture change within the VA, we'll be advocating for greater peer support of women veterans, collection and analysis of gender-based data and transparency of those findings, VA and community outreach to women veterans, and coordinated community care that supports the unique needs of women veterans. But what can we do today? How can we swiftly show that every woman veteran who is and has worn a uniform, that we honor her as much as the man standing in formation next to her? We can demand that the VA motto be replaced immediately. If women aren't recognized by the guideposts of the VA, it's ridiculous to suggest that we are truly recognized for our service in the eyes of our fellow Americans. Before I wrap, I'd like to recognize all of our service members serving around the world and thank them for their continued sacrifice. IAVA has your back. And thank you again for inviting us here today, and I look forward to answering your questions.